Hello, everybody. This is the CT Sports Talent Show. My name is Chris Saunders, and I'm pleased to have on with me a Tolland Eagle junior outfielder and pitcher. Christian Steiner is with me. Christian, I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me.
You and I were just kind of talking about how, the conditions outside today, and it's been like that the last couple of days with the rain and the wind. I mean, you were just practicing in the wind. How much fun was that, or lack thereof?
I mean, at this point, we're kind of used to it. Growing up in Connecticut all my life, I feel it was windy every single day. So at this point, kind of got used to it.
With all the rain that we've gotten, right? And I just was talking with a coach just a couple days ago about how much the rain, thankfully, it happened early and not in the middle of the season, so there's things to adjust. But when you have certain fields cannot handle a lot of rain, right? So you may have to play somewhere else and whatever. But the point is, though, how are you and the rest of your team mentally able to kind of be like, okay, if we're going to be maybe off for 3 days, we may be playing 5 days in a row. How do you guys handle that?
I mean, definitely just getting working on our own. Like a couple guys will go to a field, invite a couple guys,
Mhm.
which is huge. But I mean, we're used to the rain and cancellations and stuff, so we kind of just roll with it.
For you coming into this year, man, I mean, take me into now. How long have you played at the varsity level?
This will be my second year. I played sophomore year, so yeah, it was my second year.
Okay, so you've had some at bats, you've had some time on the mound, I'm assuming, as far to be able to kind of get your feet wet. I mean, I use the saying, and when I'm broadcasting, a freshman that plays all the way through to the end of the season, if they play even farther than that in the playoffs, they're no longer a freshman. They've basically have graduated into a froshmore in a sense, right? So for you being at the varsity level now, 1+ years, now 2 years once you finish your junior year, do you feel like things are kind of slowing down? Do you feel more comfortable now?
Yeah, I definitely feel a lot more comfortable than when I was a sophomore. Last year, our whole team was pretty much sophomores, so I feel like we are all a little like
Mhm.
anxious. But I feel this year I've been able to slow the game down. It's been a lot more easy to play.
I know Howie and I, because I talked to him quite a bit because we're both Yankee fans, which is nice. Although he's a Jets fan, so I feel bad for him, but I'm a Dallas fan, so it's even worse, probably, or probably both the same. But I know he was telling me how, like you just said, very, very young team. Obviously, there'll be some growing pains. And he was telling me how the highs are really high, but also the lows are low. And he didn't mean like you guys are terrible. He just meant, with the errors and just things that kind of happen with young guys, right? New at the varsity level, dealing with varsity pitching and the speed and all that. So, how are you and the rest of your group, even not just sophomores? Let's say they were juniors last year and they're seniors this year. How are you guys able to kind of get through that? Because baseball is a tough game, it's not easy.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like the biggest thing is going into it. You can't put too much pressure on yourself. Like you said, you can get too high or too low really easily. So I mean, just having guys around you that are always like encouraging you and giving you confidence
Mhm.
is definitely plays a big factor.
For you last year, did you have a long streak or long, a bunch of games where maybe you didn't get a hit or maybe you just felt like your play was not at your level? And if you did, how were you able to battle through that?
I mean, yeah, there's definitely like you go on streaks where it kind of just nothing's working in your favor. That definitely happens. It's just
Mhm.
I would say just trusting the work that you and your team all put in is huge,
Mhm.
and just like kind of you got to learn from it, put it behind you, then just move forward. Because at the end of the day, I mean, your team is going to need you. You can't be sulking about what happened yesterday or how you're batting, how you've one hit in the last 5 games, but you just got to keep moving forward.
As this season was coming up, what were the conversations like with the team? Because now you guys are a year older, you're at the varsity level, now getting more at bats, more innings, and now those errors that were errors last year, you would think are now should be able to cut in half, if not even more. What says you?
I would say like yeah, we were young last year, and everyone like expects you to be better. So we we made sure that we didn't just get older, that we actually got better. And I feel
Mm.
like yeah, we came back this year, and we're all a lot more confident and comfortable with each other.
Mhm.
So I think we're gelling a lot better this year. So I would say, yeah, that's how we improve.
Is there anybody that you watch at the college level or the pro level that you I don't want to say mimic, but you try to take some of, let's say, Mike Trout, you take some of Mookie Betts, pitching side, you take some from Cole, you take some from Zach Gallen, and so on. Do you do any of that, or do you kind of beat to your own drum?
Um, Honestly, before games, I like to watch like on the bus to away games or something. I like to watch Ronald Acuna just because like he's so comfortable and just so
Hmm.
like he belongs there for sure. So it kind of just gives me confidence. Kind of envision myself doing what he's doing.
Hmm.
I do that on the weight games.
So do you think you'll be wearing all the bling that he got and all the chains and everything too?
Nah, not that flashy, but just how comfortable he is.
You talk about Ronald Acuna, right? And he's a star in and of itself at the major league level, obviously playing for the Braves and doing great things, and he could steal and all that. You know, I'm sure you watch games when you can because I know you're busy. But seeing how the game is evolving, right? Just a couple years ago, I think last year was the first year, the bases are bigger. Now pitchers can only throw, and this is at the major league level, they can only throw a couple times to first base, second base per at bat.
Mhm.
Otherwise, it's a balk, right? Or they have to get you out. When you see stuff like that and how the game is kind of moving now, it could obviously, if you ever have the opportunity to play at that level, it may change even more. But when you see that, is that something you try to maybe think about adding to your game, or do you already have that with the speed and everything?
I mean, I wouldn't say I try to speed myself up at this level. I think the biggest thing for me is honestly like slowing myself down
Mm,
and just like especially like hitting, you can call time whatever, it's on you when you're hitting and pitching.
mm.
Just kind of if you need to take a second, step off, catch your breath. So I would say it's different right now, but yeah, they definitely made a lot of changes at the MLB level.
Is there anything for you coming into your junior year that you felt like you needed to work on from last year?
I feel like the biggest thing would just be like not let myself spiral.
Okay.
Like you said, you can go on those streaks where you're just nothing's working in your favor,
Hmm.
and you can't just start thinking about that. You just kind of gotta make those quick adjustments and get back on the horse.
Now, the captains for this year, are you a captain or no?
I'm not a captain though.
Okay, so obviously with the captains, right? I'm sure there's a lot of times they're saying certain things between pitches, between half innings, etc. But with you being also a second year guy at the varsity level and also getting, one of the better players on the team and such, do you feel like they've, I don't want to say adopted you, but you have a voice as well. If you want to say something, you can say it because you produce on the field, but your work ethic also says a lot as well.
Honestly, on our team, there are captains definitely, but I feel like everyone's like voice is heard. I feel like everyone shares like an interesting perspective that can help improve the team. So I feel like everyone's voice is heard for sure.
Now, looking at your schedule coming up, you've got some tough games starting with Monday. I mean, you got some L schools, double L. I saw Simsbury's there, Platt is there, and there's a couple
Mhm.
others. So, I mean, you think about, again, I didn't look at the records for all I know. Simsbury could be 0 and 5. I don't know. They're probably not. But the point is, though, when you're playing bigger schools, right? You guys are an M, and being in the CCC, there's a lot of big schools. So, with the Platts and the Simsburys and such, it's going to be a challenge. And with you kind of seeing the conference at the varsity level last year, what's the mindset with the team now going into this stretch?
The mindset I'd say would just be confident and just be ready to compete. I mean, we love competing. It doesn't really matter
Mhm.
exactly who it's against. So we just got to go out there, and if we put our best foot forward on the field, then good things will happen.
If you could share, give me like a funny conversation that you and Howie Deach, the head coach for Tolland, have had. You could have been last year, could have been this year. Give me something because I know he's full of jokes.
Let me think. Funny. I mean, I would say just like when I'm taking PP, I'm always like yanking it, and he
Mhm.
tells me to just go oppo, but then I'll try to go Oppo and I'll keep yanking it, but they'll be like good pieces, and then it's just like
Mhm.
having your mind to go Oppo, but if you end up yanking it for a double, no one's gonna get mad. So I'd say that was pretty fun.
Okay. What has, now that you've had, Coach Deach for a number of years now, what has he meant to you as a player?
He's meant a lot for sure. I mean, I think the biggest thing would be, I mean, I know he loves the game, which is important, but it's
Mhm.
just I know he works and has a family, and I would say just showing up every day to practicing games and like I can tell he really wants to be there and wants to be with the team, and
Mhm.
that's definitely huge to the morale, and that just like makes a big difference for us.
Before I let you go, Christian, I appreciate you coming on. What can people expect with this Tolland team? Because now we're getting to what it's going to be April 15th in 2 days, basically. And when you think about the spring season, it flies. I mean, before you know it, I mean, I'm probably going to be wrong on the dates here, but I know conference tournament play for the playoffs, not the state tournament, but the playoffs itself, that's going to be starting up in probably a month and maybe some change, give or take. So, what's it going to be like? What can people expect from you guys the rest of the way?
I mean, I would say when we're on, I don't think there's really anyone that can beat us. We're a great hitting team, and we're all hitting together. We just rallied
Mhm.
actually and scored 10 runs in an inning, so we have good defense, I would say. So just expect a lot out of us for sure.
Christian, I appreciate you coming on, man. This was a lot of fun. Best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
Wrap things up here in the CT Sports Talent Show. So next time, stay safe. Remember, CT stands for Connecticut Talent. I'm a jury. Find them all. Do those your day, everybody, and be well.